This was a couple months ago, but I'm walking around college with this girl that I just met 10 minutes ago. We were in the library and I kept seeing her from a few tables away. I kept seeing her looking at me and she was like a pretty girl, innit? So she had black hair with like the brown highlights. So I started a bit of small talk with her, and by the end of it, I get her to walk around with me, just doing laps around the college to get to know each other. And now we're walking side by side, the conversation's going well, we're from the same town. And I just ask her like, oh, who do you know? Who do you chill with? Who's your people, innit? She's saying all these names, and I don't think I've ever lost attraction to someone as quickly as I did in that moment, because all of these guys that she's naming, I went to high school with them, and that's not bad on its own. But let me give you a bit of context. The high school that I went to, first of all, it's an all guys high school. Second of all, we didn't have the best reputation in terms of the guys that go there. Like, of course, there's really nice guys that go there. Like, I have a lot of friends from there, but then we're known in the town as like the one school with just roadmen, the chavs, or like, what do you call it in other countries? Just the arseholes, innit? So when she's telling me all these names, I'm kind of just thinking like, why are those the guys that you know? You didn't go to our school. That means you went out of your way to find out who these guys are and chill with them. And in my head, it's like, okay, I understand that you're the 5 people that you spend the most time with, and it's like girls like this, these are the ones that tend to be trouble in it. And I'm not an arsehole in it, so I kind of just did one more lap around the college with her, just continuing some dry small talk. Took her back to the library and just took her to her seat. And then when she asked me to sit down with her, I'm kind of just like, oh, I'm a little busy right now, you know, exams coming up, and I kind of just never spoke to her again. And it's like, don't get me wrong, she still seemed like a nice girl, but I knew that, okay, right now, Sayeef, your priorities are editing and your work. And I've had experiences in the past where having the right girl, she just puts you in the right mindset, and having the right people around you that keep you happy, it can genuinely explode how productive you are. But girls like this, they're the ones that tend to hold me back. And I'm so glad this happened recently, because I know that if this happened even a year earlier, I would have just like, the red flag would have just gone over my head, and I would have folded and probably just continued speaking to her. And I'm glad I had those experiences, because now I'm able to pick out when a girl is gonna benefit my life and when she's gonna hold me back. And in the same way, I've worked with over 100 different creators as a video editor, and I've spoken to thousands more. And of course, there were really good experiences, but there were the bad ones as well. So if you're at a point right now where you are looking for clients, or you are going to be working as an editor for people, I want to share my experiences, because this could genuinely save you months, if not years, of you working with a shitty client that holds you back. Even if it doesn't come up now, it's like just having that knowledge there so that you realize and you pick up like, oh, Malice said that was a red flag, maybe I shouldn't work with this guy. I think that could be super valuable for you, so that's what this video is about. Red flag number 1 is that they don't support your growth. If you're watching content like this right now, you're probably a video editor that wants to take editing further than just as a hobby. And you might be newer to all of this, but if you've been watching for a while, you know that the content that we make, it is for your growth as an editor. I want to put you on like the fast track of what I went through for the last 3 years so that you could get there faster. And for how quickly you want to get there, so you have big goals and you want to get there fast, you want a client that supports you on that journey. Because when you find the right creator, your dream client, that not only are you getting paid for, like money is just the first benefit that you get as an editor. When you work with the right person, the creative freedom that you get, the deadlines are like so much more lenient. It doesn't even feel like work by the end of it. The editors that do best in this space, they are the ones that genuinely fall in love with their craft. And you fall in love with your craft when you work with people that genuinely just make it easier for you. They support your growth. It's sad, but it should genuinely be your goal to find a client that treats you like a human. Like, you can tell them like, bro, I know that normally we do a video once a week, but could we miss out this week because I want to go out with my family? When you find the right client, your life becomes so much easier. Of course, don't take the piss and do this every single day, but they understand that you are a human just like them. So if you're stuck with an underpaying client right now, they treat you like shit, the deadlines are so short, and they start like violating you when you can't do it, maybe just take a moment to step back and really consider, is this 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks worth me losing my entire editing career over? The second red flag is when you have a client that refuses to pay first. Now, you're gonna hear a lot of editors disagree with me. They're like, it's okay if someone pays after, they're not gonna scam me. Oh, you're a bad person if you try charging first all the time, what's the need? But trust me, when I explain to you why I charge up front, you're gonna understand why every single like top 1% editor decides to charge first. So I remember my first ever paid video. It was in February 2021, and it was a Fortnite montage. Some guy reached out to me on a Discord server, and he said, could I edit a video for him for $5? Of course, I'm a 16-year-old, I said yes. So $2.50 now, $2 after I finished the video. He sends me the Fortnite clips. I'm working in the video for literally a week straight, and then I send him the final Google Drive link. And a few hours later, when he messages me back, he doesn't reply, oh, thank you for the video. He doesn't react to the message so that I know he's seen it. He doesn't even ghost me, in fact. What he told me was, I don't think I want to pay for this video anymore. So I just worked a week straight for $5 and I've just been scammed. Like, bro, how fucking broke do you need to be? How are you scamming some 16-year-old kid over a fucking Happy Meal? Like, this was my first ever video that I'm getting into the editing industry, and I've been scammed for $2.50 for my first ever video. And of course, it's like, I was annoyed at the time. It's like, why is this guy not paying me? Please just pay me, man. But looking back at it, I'm so grateful for the lesson I've learned, because while I lost $2.50 back then, imagine if the same mistake happened today. It wouldn't be $2.50 that I'm losing. If someone scammed me for half a video, it would genuinely be $500, $600, $700 that I missed because someone didn't want to pay the second half. Like I've never been scammed since that moment, and it's because I charge up front. And some of you might be thinking right now, oh, but most clients don't scam. And you are right. Like, most clients are genuinely good people. It's only a few like bad apples in the bunch. But even past the whole, okay, when you charge first, you don't get scammed. Even past that, it goes so much deeper. What you'll find is the clients that refuse to pay first, that are so adamant that they want to pay after, they're the ones with the crazy deadlines. They're the ones with the 14 rounds of revisions. I promise you, and I really hope you take this to heart, the bigger clients and the ones that pay first and the ones that pay more, in a weird way, they're the best clients to work with, not only because of the money, but they're just better people. So my theory is that generally higher paying clients, they just are nicer people to work with. The reason being, let's say the trait of being patient, the trait of being like having good social skills, of being like sympathetic, these are all traits that you could use to be nice to an editor, right? But those same traits are the ones needed in order for you to do well in business. Because in business, you can't be an arsehole, because if you are rude to your employees, they're not gonna be nice to you, right? If you are just an arsehole online, nobody's gonna follow you. Like, that's just how business works. People who just have better morals and better social skills, they are the same ones that make more money. So I don't know if I've made it clear enough, but do you see that correlation where a nice creator has the traits to make a lot of money, and they also have the traits to make them a nicer person and treat their editors right? So generally, higher paying clients and the ones that pay first, they are going to be nicer clients to work with. So when you do tell a potential client that you expect them to pay first and then you start on the video, you automatically have like this screening process where you take out the people that generally aren't as nice to work with in terms of how they treat you. And you hearing this right now might scare you. The fact that, oh, Sayeef, what if I tell someone that I charge first and they just say I want to pay later and they decide not to work with me? What I need you to understand is you losing a client isn't objectively a bad thing. Like, when you start out editing, we naturally have this scarcity mindset where us not working with a client is objectively a bad thing and us working with a client is objectively a good thing. But you need to question, like, is that actually true? Like, probably not, right? Like, there's some arseholes out there. Like, if someone out there doesn't want to listen to me and still wants to do like, oh, let them pay after and stuff, that's fine. You can still do that. But I'm just telling you what I've done and what's worked best in my experience. Like, you just tell them that, like, bro, it's just my policy. This is how I operate as a business and it's what I've been doing since I started. And a lot of the time they'll be fine with saying yes and they just pay first. And even if they do say no and they completely stop working with you, what does that say about their character? What did we speak about before? Is someone that refuses to pay first, no matter how much you tell them that this is my policy, this is how I've always been doing things, is someone that doesn't respect your decision and your boundaries, is that someone you want to work with? It would really serve you to have more of an abundant mindset where having a client say no to you isn't always an objective loss. A lot of the time it is you dodging a bullet, because trust me, if they really wanted to work with you, they'd make an exception to their rules. So the next red flag in clients is when a problem comes up and instead of giving solutions, they end up blaming you. I feel like I really need to clear this idea up that a client and editor working relationship always needs to be perfect. Like, naturally, if you're working with someone for months and months on end, inevitably there are going to be points where it's like small problems come up. But the difference between a creator you do want to work with and a creator you don't want to work with, it's how they deal with these problems. When you make a mistake in an edit and you've given in this video, do they point out the mistake and help you find solutions and say what you could do better? Or do they just like violate you and make you feel like shit? When you say that you're not going to be available tonight because your family like called you out to another fucking city, do they understand and say, okay, how can we get this video done on time? Or do they just complain and say that you're a horrible person to work with? Do they help you find new ideas? Do they tell you how shit you are and how they could replace you in 5 minutes and they could pay someone less? Because when you're working with a creator, it could either go in one of two ways. It could either feel like you and this creator working towards destroying this problem and finding a solution, or it could be you versus the creator. And unfortunately, a lot of the time, it is the creator versus the editor, where they're clashing against each other rather than understanding, okay, this is a problem we could both solve together. One of the best working relationships that I've ever had was with this guy called Dan. So he's the manager for the Jessa channel. And when I tell him that, bro, there's something wrong or I'm running into this issue, he genuinely gave me advice on how to solve it. And it caught me so off guard because I was so used to being treated like shit that when I had someone genuinely help me find a solution, it was strange to me. You want to find clients that it feels like you're going to war with by their side. It's you and the creator versus the huge horde which is the challenges of growing a YouTube channel. And when you win, it feels so much more satisfying knowing that you're not scared that they're going to stab you in the back. When you find the right clients and it genuinely feels as though they're on your team, you spending that hours editing doesn't even feel like work. Now, red flag number 4 is one I haven't seen anyone speak about. It's when a client complains he's never found the perfect editor. So when I was in primary school, I was literally 9 years old and there was a new kid that just joined the class. Now, I'd gotten to know this guy a little bit. We've had a few conversations. His name was Ashaz. And as the days go on, as he's getting to know different people and people are finding out stuff about him, I start hearing rumors that he's just a bit annoying. And this caught me aback, right? Because it's like, I've talked to this guy and I'm literally backing him up. Like, nah, like you guys find him annoying. I think he's a really nice guy. I've never found him annoying in any way. Another 2 weeks goes on of me being with him, and by the end of it, I finally understand why everyone hates him. Like, we'd be in class together and he'd just be loud as hell, and I was a good kid. I was like a quiet kid in class, so this was something I would look really down upon. And like, I would be walking with him to walk out the classroom. Like, we're all lined up to go out the classroom. Me and him would be at the back and he'd just like tip over like a pencil jar just for the sake of it, and it's like we'd get caught and then I would get in trouble because of it. And that's when I started to understand, like, okay, this is the type of stuff why people hate you. But what this really showed was when there's someone that nobody likes, like everybody hates this person, you've got to consider maybe there's a reason for it. When there's a creator that's saying, oh, I've worked with like 50 editors and none of them are the right one, they all never give in work on time, none of them are able to do the style that I want, all of them don't understand what I'm saying, we've got to consider that maybe, just maybe, the 50 editors that you tried to work with aren't the problem. At least one of them would have been good, bro. Come on. Maybe it's you that's the problem. So really be careful when a creator keeps complaining that, oh, I haven't been able to find a good editor, because chances are if you end up working with them, let's be real, you're just gonna be another one of those 50 editors that they end up complaining about. Now, the 5th red flag in video editing clients is they don't know what they want. So I remember when I first started working with content creators, so these YouTubers that are doing full-length videos, and there would be a few of them that would tell me like they don't really have a style in mind, they don't know what they want in the video. And to me, I thought that was a good thing. Like, you hear other editors say about how good creative freedom is and how relieving it is to have someone that gives you that freedom. But there's a very fine difference in between creative freedom and them just not knowing what they want. Creative freedom is pretty much a creator giving you footage and they have no expectations of what they want. They literally have come in with the expectation that this could end up completely different to what I have in mind, but I would still be happy if it's a presentable video. Them not knowing what they want, them saying that I'm not sure what style to do it in, can you just edit it? That's them having an expectation in their mind. Subconsciously, they have an idea of what they want, they're just not able to articulate it to you. And the reason that's so dangerous is with these people, no matter how good their edit is that you hand in, they're always gonna expect higher. It's these guys that send 500 revision rounds and keep you up at night and treat you like shit because they have these high expectations that they haven't communicated to you. So how can we blame you as an editor for not meeting their expectations? They haven't even told you them. It's like, you know when you have a girl and she's just pissed at you for whatever reason on that day, and it's like a few days will pass and then you're in a better mood and you both just talk about like, why were you pissed a few days ago? And then she'll tell you like, oh, it was because you didn't ask me if I wanted to eat out that day. And it's like, if you wanted to eat out, you never told me you wanted to eat out, but then you also expected me to take you out as well. Like, if you want me to do it specifically on this day, you gotta let me know. So when clients tell you that they don't know what they want, what style they want, go down on it and really figure out what do they expect from you. I have this framework called establishing expectations early. So as soon as you start messaging a client to start working on a video, there's 3 things you want to clear up. What style are we getting this video done in? When is the deadline? And what am I getting paid for this? The quicker you can clear up these 3 things, the more likely is that by the end of you guys working together, he's going to be happy with what you've given him, as long as you did meet those expectations. Red flag number 6 is what I call expecting Rolex quality for Casio prices. So you probably already know what I'm talking about. So Rolex's really nice watch, like thousands and thousands of dollars, and then Casio you can get it for like 20-30 bucks. There's so many new creators out there that they can't afford spending $1,000 on a video. Fair enough, not everyone can. But don't come to me and tell me you want me to edit like Ryan Trejon, you want me to edit like Mr. Beast, you want me to edit like the Sidemen style, which I can do, but you want to pay me $200 for it. That's not gonna work. And I say, bro, don't get me wrong, I can work at $200, but I'm not going to work on your video when you're literally paying me the tiniest fraction of what someone else is. Like, you're coming into a fine dining restaurant with all the wine glasses and stuff, and you're asking them if you could get the meal at the same price as a Happy Meal. It's just not gonna work. And I remember when I was early in my career, I used to fall into these offers so much more often. Of course, sometimes when you are starting out, you are gonna need to charge less than the actual style because you're still learning. That's normal. Let's say someone that's charging $200-300. If you're already charging that, don't take on a client that wants the same quality for $100. Because as stupid as it sounds, I know editors that do that, and you might be one of them. Like, I know the extra cash seems really nice, but you're underselling yourself so hard when you already get clients at a certain price point. The 7 red flag in clients that you might work with is that they don't follow through with their promises. So we need to remember that as editors, we are genuinely assets within this person's business. Like, our main goal is to get this person's channel to grow. That's the value that we have to give to this creator, and in return, just like normal, like capitalism says, we give this value, we get money in return. But our value that we're giving is to grow this channel. And a lot of creators realize that, and that's why incentives work so well. It's how revenue share works. It's how someone saying, oh, if you get this many views on a video, then I'll increase your pay. If you reach this many subscribers by this month, then you'll get a bonus. Like, they have these incentives in place for editors. Like, I was working with this creator in the Fortnite space where we had this deal with all the editors. If we reach 3 million views on an edit that we do, he'll pay us an extra $1,000. So it's like, as an editor, you really work hard to do that well. And it's like, that's a good thing. I think that's a healthy relationship to have. But I've heard stories about other editors who work with other clients. They've had these incentives in place. They put in all this work, but the creator doesn't keep up with their promise. So how do you actually make sure you pick clients that do follow through with their promises? What I found is it's taking notice of the smaller things that they do. Let's say someone tells you that they're going to pay you, okay, next Thursday, and Thursday comes around, you DM them and they ghost you. If someone's able to lie about that, they're going to be willing to lie about bigger things. Just keep an eye out because you don't want to get fucked over when the stakes are a lot higher. Now, the 8th red flag is, I know a lot of videos relate to, you probably are too. It's when an editor breathes down your neck while you're working. I remember this was 2 years ago. It was late 2021 and I was doing a Fortnite video for someone. I was out in a restaurant eating with my family at the time, and I'm just speaking to this guy on Twitter through my phone. We agreed on the price, £15 a video. I sent him my PayPal, he sent me the footage, he paid, and I kind of just put my phone away knowing that, okay, when I get home, I'm gonna start working on the video. Now tell me why I'm eating food with my family and I can't hold a conversation with my mum because my phone doesn't stop buzzing from this guy. I've ignored like the last 18 notifications, but now I tell my mum, let me just check this real quick. And I check what he's saying and he's asking me if I've started the video. It's been 30 minutes since he sent me the footage. We agreed on a deadline of an entire week. Imagine that. Already like breathing down your neck saying, like, have you started yet? Have you started yet? Like, do you just expect me to get a video from you and then just start working it? Like, let me go to a restaurant and have my laptop editing there while all my family are around me. Yeah, let me go do that real quick. There's literally studies to show that the activities that we enjoy doing, a part of it comes down to autonomy. Autonomy is just like free will. It's when you choose to do something, you choose to be somewhere and you enjoy it more. Like, most people kind of just fall out of love with reading. Like, by the end of being in the school system, you hate reading. And the reason literally like 99% of people don't like to pick up a book is because they've been fucking traumatized by being forced to read through school. Like, now I read so many books that have helped me so much in my editing career, and the reason I enjoy it is because I've made the effort myself. No one forces me to read these books, and that's why I enjoy it. In the same way, when someone's forcing you to edit, when you feel like you're editing not because you want to, but because this guy's breathing down your neck, you end up losing your love for editing. And don't get me wrong, if you've missed the deadline by like a whole day, and then when the client asks you how it's going, you just ignore them, yeah, you deserve to get shouted at and the client get ignored at you. But if you guys have agreed on a deadline and the deadline has not come yet and you are on track to finish the video, there is no reason for this guy to be breathing down your back. So you just keep it in mind when you do notice these things happening. Like, sure, here and there we can deal with it, but over time, having these types of clients, they'll make you lose the love you have for editing. And the last red flag in video editing clients is that they expect you to constantly be on standby. And I really hope this helps you, because I just wish someone told me this when I first started editing. I would genuinely have saved myself from so many all-nighters, so many days of sleeping at 5 AM and waking up at 7 to go to college. So many times where I couldn't enjoy myself myself when I was with my friends because I was scared of losing a client. Probably nobody's told you this before, but it's okay to make a client wait for a response. Now what I'm saying isn't that weird like dating advice of make her wait like 3 hours before you message back to be mysterious. Like that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is check your DMs while you are in your waking hours. When it comes to like 11, 12 o'clock, whatever time you sleep, be okay with understanding that like I don't need to continue this conversation right now. I'll reply when I wake up. I used to have this constant fear of like, what if I miss a DM and then it's a really big client and he might not hire me, like I can't lose this opportunity, and then I'd stay up till 3, 4 a.m. messaging this guy in bed and I'm like, my eyes are closing but I'm too scared to lose this client. Like take a step back and really think about the creative side of things. If you're talking to an editor and this guy for some strange reason is active constantly throughout the day and then at around midnight he ends up not responding, I wonder what could be happening in his life. Maybe, just maybe there's a chance he's asleep because he's a human too. Like you need to understand that it's okay that you go to sleep and you don't respond. If a client stops working with you because you need to sleep, is that really someone you want to work with? Because if a client's getting ignored that you don't message them at 4 a.m. in the morning, they're probably going to expect you to stay up till 4 a.m. editing as well. Like I read this concept again in this book called Deep Work. I have it here. This book is really good. If you want to get into productivity and making the most out of your time while you're editing, read this book, Deep Work. There's this concept called don't respond. Like you have to ask yourself, genuinely, what is the worst case scenario if I don't respond right now? If I don't respond for 10 minutes, what would happen? Okay, they'd be willing to wait. If I don't respond for half an hour, okay, they'd understand maybe I'm busy. If I don't respond for 6 hours, they'd be a bit confused. They'd be like, oh, this guy was responding to me just a while ago. But then they respond again around 8 hours later and they think, okay, he's responded again. This happens between you and the creator a few days in a row and they kind of just pick up, oh, he's probably just asleep during these times. As long as you're replying to messages while you're awake, that is genuinely the worst case scenario of what could happen if you didn't respond straight away to a creator. I'm not saying to wait to message back on purpose because that's a stupid thing. What I'm saying is don't feel like you need to stay up and not sleep in order to message back to this person, because that's what I used to do, and I just wish someone told me like it's okay, because you'd literally be able to wake up earlier tomorrow, respond back, and now you've had enough sleep so that you can edit faster, better, you're more creative, like you get all the benefits. Like there's only benefits to doing it this way. If there's ever a client that gets annoyed or even fires you because you had to sleep, really ask yourself, was there ever a loss in the first place? So now you know all these red flags and I hope you keep them in mind, but you might be asking, Sayeef, how do I actually avoid these clients? And this is such an underwhelming answer. I know so many kids are going to be pressed at this that I didn't give some like fancy answer about like some AI tool that can find the red flags for you, but honestly, it's literally by saying no. There's too many editors that are putting themselves in horrible positions where they literally want to kill themselves, all because they were too scared to lose a client that was making them deteriorate their health because they couldn't sleep, and not enjoying themselves in social situations because they expect them to be editing all day for them. These are the types of clients you're going to be losing, and for me, I'm willing to lose $50 a month if it means that I'm not working with a crappy client that makes me want to die. And the way you become comfortable with letting go of these crappy clients, it is by building genuine abundance. It's when you know that you could say no to this client and you'd be fine. You know there's 50 other creators that want to work with you. How do you build that abundance, that genuine confidence, knowing that you could go with any creator and say no to this crappy one? It's by becoming a better editor. Because the editors at the top, the ones that are working with these huge channels, they're not fighting for scraps like the 99% of others. If someone mistreats them, they know that they could go with any other person that they want. And when you have that freedom, that's when you start loving editing, just like you did when you did it as a hobby. Not only do you love what you do, but you're making money from it, all from the comfort of your home. Like I literally live in my parents' house, bro. My expenses are near zero pretty much. Like all I spend on is things that could increase my earning capacity. So it's like I go through courses, I will pay to get into communities, I will pay for mentors. Anything that I spend my money on is because I want to. And you get to that point of genuine freedom when you do take editing a little more seriously. Because if me and you are being honest with ourselves right now, genuinely look at me. Would you say that you have reached your maximum potential with editing? Or do you feel like if you did the right thing, if you put in the extra work, would you be able to do a little bit more? Would you be able to actually make this a proper income source rather than coping and saying, oh, I just want to do it on the side. Like I don't really want to do do it that seriously. Because all those kids that say, oh, I just want to keep it as a side income, I don't want to take it too seriously, I promise you, if a creator came to them today and told them I will pay you 10, 11, 12k a month to edit for me, they would take it in a heartbeat. So really ask yourself, if you're not sure if you want to do it as a side income or take it to the next level, ask yourself, is that because that's genuinely what you want to do? Or is it because you're scared that you're not going to make it? Are you scared that you're going to put this effort in and it's not going to work? Are you scared of the extra time you're going to need to be putting in? Because you know, if you had better editing and you were better well connected and you knew how to speak to creators, you know that's something you would enjoy. My goal is to help video editors go through the same journey that I did, to go from editing as a hobby to doing it for a full-time income. Now that doesn't mean working full-time hours. I don't work full-time hours. I only edit for a couple hours a day, but then I make more than someone that works full-time. You get to that point by having the humility to say, okay, I have this ambitious goal. I want to make X amount of $1,000 every single month from editing. And then you do the right things to get there. It's understanding that there are certain steps that you need to learn that you haven't found out yet. And there are people that have gone through the path that I want to go down, and I can learn things from them. I really hope you get that out of my content, because editing has changed my life and the way I live it. And that's what my content will do for you. The freedom you have when you know money is no longer a constraint. When you know that you could go out and treat your friends whenever you'd like. When you know that you're working on something you genuinely want to be working on. I don't think I could see life in a different way. And it'd be a shame for you to waste all this potential you have, because you could do the same thing. I'm not a special guy. You could do the exact same thing. And it'd be selfish of me to have editing change my life in this way and not help you do the same thing. I'm really proud of you, bro, for going through this journey. Like don't get me wrong, it's hard, but it's so worth it at the end. I teach everything I've learned over my last 3-year editing journey. So if you want to learn from me and unlock that potential you have with editing, go scroll down right now and click the red subscribe button. And go watch this video right now. I think it'd really help you. Peace.